All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. The year just keeps rolling along already on the 9th of July. Where does the time go? Glad to be with you. Make sure to subscribe and like our videos, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. We do videos on the weekend, videos here every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Morning Note. And thanks for the support as always. Again, we're trying to get to 10,000 subs. That starts with you hitting that subscribe button. Thanks again, guys. Dow futures are up 9 points. Nasdaq's up 62 with a key bank. Key bank is a bank, and they raised their price target on NVIDIA. So Nvidia goes up, Nasdaq goes up. S&P 500 futures 56.35 up 10 points. The Russell is flat this morning. Dollar is slightly up 105.08. The VIX 1243 up 0.49%. Crude oil, another pullback, 81.94, down 0.44%. Gasoline futures, $2.53, down 0.28%. Interesting article I read this morning. Saudi Aramco is going to the bond market. Looks like they want to borrow some money. We know that Saudi Aramco is one of the largest companies on this planet. So the fact that they want to borrow some money, probably showing a little bit of softening of demand in terms of crude oil. Who knows? Gold futures up 0.17%, 23.67. Silver 31.22. I saw some unusual options activity for silver. Let me go ahead and go over that. That's part of our Discord. Let's go and move it here. DM's coming in this morning. Guys, again, if you are in the server and you have any questions, DM me personally. So if you want to find me, I'm on the Live Market blog. There's a lot of scammers out there pretending to be me. Just be careful. If you're not sure, this is me on the Live Market blog. Just click on my name, add me as a friend. You can always DM me directly any of your questions. Again, here to help. Let's go over that silver unusual options activity. October 18th, 30 strike calls had 11,000 in volume. The November ones had the 29s had 12K in volume. Again, this is SLV, not silver futures. So again, there is some unusual options activity for silver. We'll take a look at the chart here in a second. Copper, $4.60. That's down 0.30%. Let's take a look at Forex land. 108.16. Not much of a move on euro dollar, even after the French elections. There was some talk from Moody's that the new election, the left wing, was going to hurt their credit rating. France's credit was not really hurting anything right now. Aussie dollar flat. Euro dollar yen up 31 pips. Pound dollar is literally flat. Bitcoin bouncing 57,560. We talked about this possible Bitcoin bounce over the weekend. Again, let's see if it comes to fruition. 33,081, up 2.22% for Ethereum futures. That's where we are this morning. Again, what I was looking for in terms of Bitcoin was really Mara. And Mara broke my alert yesterday, but I did not fill anything there. I thought Palantir was a better fill for us. So again, not the best daily candle. Let's get above 2304. I went ahead and raised that above this double top, not this trend line. So again, we want to see if Mara can get above 2304. That's going to be the vehicle I'm going to use to trade, well, let's say Bitcoin, let's just say. And the reason I say that is because BITO just doesn't have the volume. And again, I have no problem trading BITO. We've had before. It is right near support. The question is, do we get the volume? So that's really the only issue there. I know we had some questions. Let's go. I know I had some real quick. Painless. He's here every morning. Good morning. Amazon. Yes, we are in Amazon. And you could see just pretty much flagging here. Not much going on. We need to break 201. 200 has been that kind of level we've been just chopping around at. Again, I do fully expect us to break this. So we did hit all-time highs on Amazon yesterday. So I expect us to go higher. We still have time. Powell speaks today. We have CPI this week. Again, I'm still rolling with the bullish thesis. Mega caps are still going to go higher. We're still in that first 2 weeks of strong seasonality, guys. Seasonality is just fund flows. Understand that. It's money coming into the market. As traders, we're just trying to time that at the end of the day. So here's this headline from Bank of America Equity Client Flow Trends. Fifth largest week of equity flows since 2008, led by large cap tech for the fifth week in a row. If you guys remember last weekend when we talked about kind of starting the last week, when we said back to basics, we're going to focus on the mega cap names, we're going to focus on tech, and it's worked out for us. So far, the B of A equity client flow is confirming what basically we've been saying now for a couple of weeks. So Amazon, I fully expect that to go higher. 201.20 is the level. We'll see if we get there. AMD, I thought we would get that push overnight to around 182. We did not. It is down about 70 cents this morning, 80 cents. Tagged 180. I have calls on it. Basically, what we're looking for was this breakout. Again, above the previous high that we had, where we we went back. So that was an L. So again, I'm just being careful. But again, the move was higher. 175 was the break level. That's what we're looking for. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, is that we come back to 175, which I don't think we will. Nvidia's up, Micron's up, just because the semiconductors were reiterated by these banks. 175 retest. If it retests there, we'll bounce. Hopefully, we're looking for 183.93 to 185. Just back to where we were in April. So we'll see if we get there on AMD, but pull back this morning. NVIDIA starting to move higher. Once it breaks 131, I'm watching the 135 strike. Why am I watching the 135 strike? Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Again, pretty nice parallel lines. You could say that. And if you go to the daily, well, if you go to the hourly, I'm sorry. See the hourly, you have that the trend lines here right around 135 or so. All we're looking for is a retest of that level. Very similar to what I saw on Bank of America. If we talked about that over the weekend. And did we get over that? Let me see if I can get the weekly. Yeah, see? Parallel lines, kind of. This is not exactly perfect, but rejected, or we got to those lines. Again, Bank of America has been a tough one to trade, but we were waiting for this breakout point anyways of around 38, 39. It finally got to 40, got to 41. But it's all timing and options, guys. It's all timing. So again, I kind of see the similar approach, Bank of America and BAC and NVIDIA, excuse me. So NVIDIA above 131, 136 to 137 would be the target. I still have the 150 calls. So again, we're looking to see if we break 141. Let's see if we get a little bit of juice in terms of volume. Good morning. Good morning. Beth says, asking questions about Meta. All right. Meta tagged a new all-time high yesterday and then didn't have the best daily candles. So there you go, 542. Remember, I was talking about the 550 calls back over here. We were expecting all-time highs. The problem is just that it's expensive. That's really it. The higher the price goes, more expensive the options will be. So if Zuckerberg wants to give us maybe a stock split, this would be an easier trade. But Meta, again, to me, still looks like it's going to go higher as long as you stay above the 20-day moving average, which is right around 508. Use that as your support. Let's take a look at Marvell. Marvell Technologies just chopping around here on the daily. Let's see on the hourly. Yeah, it's starting to hit a little bit of resistance at 75, but nothing here to get too excited of. You gotta got to get above 78.50, then you can target the highs of 85. That'll give you about $10 to play with. Palantir. Palantir just reported news regarding Oracle. Look at this candle on the daily. That is very nice. Palantir is going to go higher, guys. I've been saying it. We're going to get there. We're going to get to the levels that we want. 27.54 was the highs, the 52-week highs. We broke that. Let's go to the weekly. Again, this gap fill from the weekly is 31.28. That's really the money target, but 29.29 is your 3-year highs. More than likely, that's going to be the level that tags. If we break out of that, there's your gap fill. So Palantir, still expecting higher up. It is up pre-market. Microsoft for calls. Again, tough one when it's at all-time highs. Got to get above 470. We'll see what the volume shows after that. But again, kind of the same boat as Meta. Very difficult because what's your target going to be? I mean, what can you say? The golden Fibonacci level, I guess you can use that. That would be 512. So again, based on the Fibonacci levels, if we go to the weekly and expand, and again, the bottom is your COVID lows, and you can see the extension 512.54 just based on the Fibonacci levels. So if we use that, remember the same thing we talked about, Apple, NVIDIA, all these names, the Fibonacci extension 161.8, 512.20, 512.54. I don't know if I would do that as the target for a call. Get above 470, the 500s might be a little cheaper, but that's a bit speculative. And the reason I say that is because the first 2 weeks, guys, is where we have those fund flows. After that, the 19th, that OPEX day, expect some weird kind of choppiness. It's just the reality. So enjoy the ride for these 2 weeks of July. The end of July, we're going to be extremely careful. More than likely, we're going to take a look at any kind of pullbacks on cheap puts because put call ratios are very depressed. And we know what happens. Check the tape from July 2023. I talked about it. This is the time where things get screwy. We called the top in that summer, and then we slowly slid back. Not a big deal. We bounced back in November. Rinse, repeat, lather. And that's where we are. Let's see if anything else stood out. I know I placed a note on the Discord. Here we go. Goldman Sachs. Since 1928, July 17th has marked the local top for the month, heading in materially lower in August. We are modeling a late summer equity market correction. 10% is what they're saying. I don't know about a correction, maybe 5%. But again, July 19th, they say 17th, but July 19th is our OPEX day. That's where we're going to start getting a pullback. And again, that's just based on seasonality. And again, doesn't mean we're not going to go higher down the line. Of course we are. But a little bit of a cool down into the summer snooze fest. Everyone's going back to school, hurricane season. It's always something in August, guys. So be prepared. Write this down. Say July 17th. You need to be out of your calls. You need to be out of what you have. Take your profits and you move on. And then we'll see where we go from there. So take advantage of what we can now. We're going to be as careful. We're going to be as precise as possible. Getting into the end of July, right around after July 19th, those 2 weeks, we're going to reset. If you noticed, members, I haven't put anything super long term in terms of options. Why? Because of July 19th. Guess what expires we have? July 19th. There you go. So July 17th, according to Goldman, that's when things start pulling back a little bit. Maybe we'll get the dollar coming higher a little bit. Maybe VIX starts spiking up. Maybe yields spike up. Again, pick your excuse, spin the wheel. That's just how it goes, guys. 10 years of this crap. This is what you learn. Google calls. Let's take a look at it. Google needs to break 192.56, which is their highs, and we're back in the same boat, guys. Just all-time highs. Google, Microsoft, Meta, pick your horse. Apple, again, how high can you go? And we already know July 17th is when things get a little wonky, where we start getting some chop pullback. So let's not get too excited. I would say stay patient. Let's see if we get that pullback into end of July, and then we could do a little shopping here and there. But doing this for all-time highs is tough. Apple has a great weekly candle. Let's look at the daily candle. Another great daily candle. And we know the Fibonacci extension is the golden one, 246.61, based on the last 3 years, or 2 years, excuse me. So that's what we're looking for. Again, let's take advantage. Powell speaks today. What do I expect from him? Not much. The same old political stuff. Yes, we're looking at the data, blah, blah, blah. The most important thing is price action. Look at S&P futures. Look at NASDAQ futures. NASDAQ futures, I have an alert at 700. So far, the thing that has worked in terms of futures and the stock market in July, end of June, has been buying the dip. So all we're doing is looking for opportunities to buy the dip. 700 would be my first wake-up call. See if we can get that. Maybe we can buy the dip there. If not, 20,617 would possibly be it. So that's what I'm looking for in NASDAQ futures. If we look at S&P futures, very similar. S&P and NASDAQ are very, very correlated. Blame Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, all the names, and NVIDIA. So with S&P futures, 5620 will be fine. For a small dip buy, again, stick with the micros for now, just for the fact that we have Powell speaking, and God knows what he says. If he has a seizure in front of the Congress, we're going to fall. So again, we can't predict the future that way. We can just see opportunities as they come. Curious long-term calls in NVIDIA. Looking at NVIDIA here, needs to break 130.97. But again, after July 17th, according to Goldman, we're going to start sliding a little bit. So can we get NVIDIA to 141 all-time highs, recent all-time highs, by then? I think we do. And again, it's kind of like that last run. So far, NVIDIA looks like it's going to squeeze and break out above 131. Again, I don't have no problem playing the 135 calls if that's the case. Again, let's take advantage of what we can. And that's where we are this morning. All right, team. So Powell speaks at 10 in front of the Senate Banking Committee. I'll be watching that. Any kind of headlines, we'll post it here on the Live Market blog and on our Twitter. So make sure to follow us on Twitter or X at Gar Capital. Have a great rest of your morning. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll catch you on the Live Market blog. Cheers all.